Hey everybody, it's Crumps. Just figured I'd give you a quick little tutorial on how to get Open Broadcaster software running. I've had many requests to do so from Twitch TV users that aren't quite sure on how to do this, but as a free alternative to XSplit, or at least a much better free alternative to the free version of XSplit, this is something that really ought to get out there. It's a really great program. It's been working wonders for me, so least I can do is get everybody else running. First things first, I've noticed something big here. A lot of people are getting a lot of dropped frames and not understanding why, so first things first, let's focus on knowing what your upload speed is. This is very important. You're going to notice I'm showing you speedtest.net. All of these links, especially the one to download OBS, are going to be right below the video. You need any of those links, check right below. All these things are going to be listed. Here's speedtest.net. Forget you know about this site. Here's why. It's going to show, oh, look at this, I've got 4.15 upload speed. This is the important number that we're looking at here as far as casting goes. Okay, the upload speed. So it says I have 4.15. This is a flat-out lie, okay? There's a reason why you're going to see another website real quick here called testmy.net. What happens on speed test is that basically they use the speed boost involved with, like, let's say I've got Comcast, for example. It uses what's called speed boost, so you get this immense upload speed and download speed right off the bat, and then it tapers off very quickly. So it actually takes that into account on here because it doesn't use a very large file when it's testing your upload speed and your download speed. So this is a very inaccurate result. I found a lot of problems with this when I saw, oh geez, I've got 4 upload speed. I can broadcast at 3,000 kilobits a second. Wrong. Totally wrong. Don't believe it. So here's what you do. You go to testmy.net. Oh, notice this difference. I've only got 2.3 upload. See where this could be a problem? That's almost half of what it showed me on the other site. So this is where a lot of people are going to be getting their dropped frames and wondering why, hey, my cast looks like crap. You know, it's because you're trying to cast at too high of a bitrate. I didn't realize just how bad mine was until I actually used this. Here's what you do. You go to your upload test here on testmy.net. Start off, go right over here to select test size. This is what I'm referring to. On speed test, you're only using about a 256 kilobit file size. That's nothing. Go up to 33 megabits. That's megabits, not kilobits, megabits. So yeah, a lot larger file size. You're going to get a lot more accurate results out of this. So give that a shot. Like I said, it showed me exactly what I have, and I haven't dropped a frame since. I don't find that to be ironic. So, like I said, it's definitely go to testmy.net. Links are down below. Choose 33 megabit file. Check your upload speed. Now we're going to take that into effect just a little bit later here on Open Broadcaster software. Let me show you what we have going with the program itself, though. So when you open up for the first time, here's Open Broadcaster software. This isn't going to look exactly like yours. I've added in some scenes, and like I said, I've been casting with this for a while, so mine's already set up. But I'll explain everything as we go here. Basically, though, excuse me, if you've used XSplit before, this is very, very similar. Your scenes are exactly like XSplit. You set them up on your own, though. It doesn't have just 12 sitting here waiting for you. You can do as many as you need. So, the way that we're going to start off is we're going to go into our settings here. You can get to this in 2 different ways. There's a settings button. Well, like I said, I'll explain the rest of this in a second or two. Global sources we'll need to know. The rest is kind of obvious. Nonetheless, settings are here, also up in the top corner. Not really the corner, the middle of the top. You guys know me. I can't tell directions. Anyways, open that up. Let me get onto this page. There you go. Here's what you're going to see. First page is just general stuff. Your language preferred. Obviously, set it to what you guys need to. Second one, the encoding. This is where we're going to start focusing. Here's the settings that I'm using for my broadcast. Keep in mind I'm doing 720p, 60 frames a second, and you guys have seen the quality that's been putting out recently. These are the exact settings I'm using. Now everybody knows. Enjoy. Now, but just like XSplit, you've got quality settings, 0 through 10. It'll actually explain if you hover over anything. Of course, now it's not going to do it. There we go. It's going to cut off on XSplit, though. It isn't going to show it. Again, this is why XSplit isn't good. It doesn't show the stuff we're hovering over. If you hover over any of the actual settings, it'll actually give you a pop-up box explaining what's going on with any setting that you're changing. So be sure to read all that. It's very informative. Lots of really good information in there if you're confused about what's going on. Getting back to the actual settings, though. I don't know why I'm trying to move this now. My mouse is messing up. Anyways, that was fun. Anyways, getting back to this, your max bitrate and buffer size, just like an XSplit, you're going to take into account what we just found on testmy.net. Mine was 2.4 megabits upload. So I'm not going to use all of that for my video because you need to leave some for your audio, which you can see right here. I'm using 256 bitrate. So add in 256 on top of the 1800, so really I'm using 2056 if you combine the two, which leaves me a little over 300 available at the top for a little bit of free range. You don't want to cap out and use every last bit of upload you have, guys. You're going to wind up dropping a few frames at the very top end of motion. So keep that in mind. Give yourself a little bit of leeway. Yeah, you're going to lose a slight little bit of quality, but it's worth it. Trust me, it will make your stream smooth. Nobody will ever complain. Trust me on that. So I'm using 1800 with a buffer size of 2000. That was information given to me a while ago as far as where I should have it set, and since I've done that, it's been smooth riding. So I'm perfectly happy with that. You also have to keep in mind your viewership. A lot of people can't watch, let's say, if I were to go to 1080p, which I actually can here with Open Broadcaster software. If I were to go to 1080p, and let's say I had higher upload and could go to 4000 on my max bitrate, a lot of people aren't going to be able to watch me in full quality because a lot of internet connections actually can't handle that. It's really surprising. Just because you can upload it doesn't mean everybody else can watch it that way. So if you're not a partner, keep that in mind because people don't have quality buttons at that point, so they can only watch in full quality. So again, keep that in mind, guys. Always just something to think about. The audio on there, before we leave, I use AAC, but it also has MP3 available. It's really up to you guys, whatever feels more accurate, I guess, to your ears. I'm an audio engineer, so for me it's AAC over MP3 any day of the week. That's just me. Again, it's your ear. Everybody's going to hear things differently. Whatever works best for you, I prefer AAC. It's going to stick to 44.1K on the format. This is also important. In your Windows, make sure that your microphone and your audio settings are all going to 44.1 kilohertz outputs. Otherwise, you're going to get weird sounds in all of your audio at some point. It will start glitching out. This has been a problem on anything. It's because it has to basically reformat your audio on you, and it's trying to upsample where it can't. It's really long and drawn out explanation, not going into it. Keep them all the same. You're not losing quality by keeping it at 44.1 kilohertz. That's what your ear is used to hearing. You will never hear a difference unless you're in a studio or you're a trained audio engineer. I know that sounds presumptuous, but it's so true. Just trust me. Put everything at 44.1 on your PC. Match this up. The bitrate here, same thing. I'm an audio engineer. I prefer to have a little bit higher quality. All I did was double up the original 128 that most things are at. It'll start here by default. I just doubled it to 256. 320, you're not going to hear a difference from 256 to 320. So, whatever. Save yourself a little bit of upload. Enjoy. No, I don't want to upload. I didn't change anything. Anyways, onto your broadcast settings. This is where you're going to have to go to justin.tv. Because as you'll notice, it's asking this time for a stream key, which obviously is blacked out on here because I'm not giving you guys my stream key. I'm not that stupid. Don't let anybody see that. Never put that stuff in or check that while you're live on stream, folks. Because if people see that, they can cast on your channel. Remember that. Anyways, go to justin.tv, not Twitch, Justin, where everything originated with that, okay? Go up to the top where you see your name when you've logged in. Go into your settings. It'll be the same type of drop-down menu that you have on Twitch. Go into your settings on there, and in the first page, when you scroll down to the bottom, there's something that says Show Stream Key. You can reset it if you want to, or you can just flat out copy it from there and paste it in right here to your stream key, the one that's all, black lined out here. So paste it right in there. It's going to be able to cast to your channel at that point. So you're not putting in, like, hey, here's my username and password for Twitch. No. Just put in your stream key. It's a little weird to get to the first time if you're not sure where to look for it. So like I said, I'm not going to show you on mine here on the internet. Go again to justin.tv, settings, scroll down, show stream key. Open that up, copy that, paste it in here. At that point, let's see, let's start at the top. Make sure in the mode that it's live stream, file output only, you're going to be recording out of your own PC. So obviously make sure that if you're trying to live stream that you set that to live streaming. Pretty obvious. Next one down is streaming service. Obviously, like I said, I don't know about owned, so this is just for Justin and Twitch TV. Obviously, this works for both sites. It's the exact same. They're sister sites. One's just for video games, one's for entertainment more so. Everybody probably knows that. Servers, I think everybody also knows at this point. I'll give you a link for the, well, actually, I don't know that it exists anymore. We'll find the ingest ranker at some point. I'll try to get the link in there. If not, I think you guys all know how to find your correct server at this point. I use Ashburn, Virginia Secondary because it's got the lowest settings on everything as far as delay, jitter, you name it, ping. Everything's the lowest on this one for me. So, amazingly, living in Chicago, cough, cough, there's a hub here, I still cast to Virginia. So, don't just cast to the one closest to you. Find the one that works best, folks. So there's my setting. Like I said, I don't put in the dashboard link. I don't know what that does. Honestly, I just didn't bother. Auto reconnect, you can leave if your stream goes offline for whatever reason. It'll try in 10 seconds to reconnect it. I leave that off just because that way I know when it's disconnected and I can do it at my leisure and make sure that everything's right. Save the file again if you want to record to your hard drive, file path where you set it to. If you really want to set a hotkey to make your stream go live and then also take it offline, you can set those here. I don't like doing that. I do it by clicking just to make sure I don't fat finger a button. That's me again. Do what you guys need to. No, I don't want to change anything. Next settings, video. For me, like I said, I cast at 720p. You notice that that's the second number in 1280 by 720. Here's another little tidbit for anyone that didn't know. The second number in any resolution is the pixel rating, or P. So 1920 by 1080 is 1080p. 1280 by 720, 720p. I forget the rest of them, but you get the idea. So on and so forth on down the line. So this is 720p that I'm casting in. I set that myself on custom just because my monitors run at 1920 by 1080. I window every game that I play though, and if I can't, I have to use DX Story for it. That's one thing I should bring up. OBS, Open Broadcaster software, will not capture full-screen games yet. You have to have something like DX Story to capture the full-screen games, and then bring DX Story into Open Broadcaster software. Little heads up on that. I window everything, and I'll show you how I get them in after that. It's simple. It's disgustingly simple. Of course, though, you can just, like I said, set just your monitor, tell it which one of the two. I use two monitors, so you can tell it which one you want at that point. That's just your base resolution, though. You can also downscale it here. Excuse me. So like I said, here's, okay, 640 by 360 would be downscaling it to 360p. For me on twitch.tv, they already do this for me because I'm a partner and I have quality buttons. So I start at 1280 by 720. They do a 2x downscale and also give me a 360p button. So you'll notice, like if you watch on my channel, you'll see the difference in quality there. Again, it's going to basically drop the amount of pixels in half. So, use it at your own discretion. I keep everything the same. Don't make your computer do any extra work. If you want to cast in 360p, put in 360p up here in custom, and then leave this at none. Don't make your computer do extra work on you if you don't have to. I cast at 60 frames a second, this setting right here. You can do whatever you need to. Personally, I find I can cast at 60 frames a second. I've got a pretty up-to-date computer that allows for that. OBS also is very smooth with it, so give it a shot if you want to, quite honestly. It'll look great. I've had nothing but people coming in asking if I'm casting at 120 frames a second, so that should tell you how smooth this looks now. Another big one, disable arrow at startup. This is kind of hit and miss. You have to kind of test games and see what works for you and what doesn't. Most of the time I have it disabled. You can run it both ways though. I've yet to find many games where there's an issue with it with arrow enabled on your computer. But if you need to, you can disable it right here. The second you start up OBS, it'll disable it and turn it off. No, I do not want it. I didn't change anything. Anyways, in audio, I love that keeps happening. In audio, here's where you set where your microphone is. For me, I've got a ton of different inputs. Make sure you find the one, obviously, that is for your microphone. If you can't find that, go into your sound settings. It'll be pretty obvious. It'll label it for you exactly like you see here. So it'll be pretty obvious. You can set a bunch of hotkeys for muting yourself. It'll stay number 0 no matter what you set. Mine's actually set to insert, and it still defaults to number 0. Insert works. Number 0 does not when I'm trying to mute, just so you know. It will say number 0. It doesn't mean it. Just know that up front. You can force your microphone to mono if you want to. I didn't bother. You can also boost your microphone signal if you need to in here by multipliers, obviously, or multiples, I should say. I leave it the way it is because everything works fine for me. In advanced, I right away checked use multi-threaded optimizations. I, again, do not see any reason not to. It's been working great with and on, so hey, it's optimizing it in my opinion. Good for it. I don't know the technicals behind it though, but it'll explain it if you hover over it a little bit. Just read it yourself on that. I'm not going to explain it all when I have no clue. Just like XSplit, it's also got the preset here for X264. Excuse me, and you can actually put in custom settings for it if you know anything about that. I'm very unskilled with this, and don't bother. Most people have just been giving me theirs, and whatever works has worked. For this, though, I've been leaving it absolutely base. With the preset, though, if I'm not mistaken, it defaults to very fast? I've kind of forgotten. The slower you go with the preset, the more strain it's going to put on your computer, but the smoother it's going to look when you're in motion in your game. So let's say you're playing Halo, or Halo 4, sorry. We'll get with the times. Let's say you're playing Halo 4. If you're standing still, even on ultra-fast setting, it's still going to look good. But if you're moving around at all, the second you move, it's going to turn into these big pixels of just like, whoa, what happened? I can't even see what's going on. That type of, it's going to look bad. Not bad, but it's not going to look like you want. The slower you go, the more and more smooth that's going to get. It's going to put a lot more strain on your computer, though. For me, I've got an i7 3770K, and I found that anything slower than medium basically just caps that at 100% instantaneously. Mind you, I'm playing on the same computer that I'm casting from, so keep that in mind. I'm straining my computer. I'll put that out there. If you have two computers, this will work a lot better, and you can put this like slower, and it'll probably be fine. But for me, I don't have it overclocked at all, so I leave it at medium, where I found is basically my nice setting. If I'm playing a real strenuous game, though, I have to drop it to low, or to fast, rather, I'm sorry. It just, you know, it'll bog my computer down a little too much. It's a lot of just playing with your own settings, guys. Find out what works best for you. Keep your Windows Task Manager open the entire time while you're testing. See when you're capping out your processor. If it gets up to 100% and stays there, you know that your cast is going to start looking really bad. Try to keep that under about 90% so that it doesn't start bogging down. Basically, like I said, just keep messing with it until you find your right setting. For me, it's medium. Excuse me. With audio, again, I'm an audio engineer, so I saw the words higher quality resampling and just went, okay. It actually sounds better now that I've enabled that than it did before. It's pretty minute, honestly, but to me, I heard it, so I leave it on. Again, that's all up to you. It's going to put a little more strain on your processor. It'll explain everything again. It's only a little bit, though. It isn't too bad. This one, the send buffer, I have left it on the entire time. I've yet to mess with this at all. It basically just buffers out what it's going to send before it sends it. So, you know, it defaults to this setting. I just left it at default. It seems to make the most sense. That's what it actually recommended at the very beginning, so I just left it there. But that's everything for your settings. So that should be all set up and honestly ready to go. So if you go into, sorry, you can see my background. Now you can really see it. If you go into OBS and you just hit start streaming, you'd actually go ahead and start streaming to your channel. There wouldn't be anything set up. You'd be streaming black screen, and you'd be able to hear, or people would be able to hear your microphone, assuming you had it unmuted. But that's it. So to get anything on there now, we're gonna pretend almost that this is XSplit again, because it's pretty darn similar, quite honestly. So let me get my game over here. You've heard Binding of Isaac going here in the background the whole time. Obviously, that's what I'm messing with here. So let me get this here, and that's my full screen. All right, so let's say that you want to play Binding of Isaac. For me, I've already got it, as you can see, somewhat set up in OBS, where on my first scene here, I've got game, Isaac. So let's say that I hit preview stream. I've already got everything set up. Now, you might have noticed when I showed you my desktop before that Binding of Isaac wasn't over here in this corner. Notice that I'm moving it, and yet here in OBS, it's not moving anything and not changing my screen region. This is why OBS is awesome, guys. So watch what you do here. Let's say that, let me just remove everything. It'll make this a lot easier to see what's going on. All right, so I've already added in by clicking in here. Let me show you OBS full screen to make this easier to understand. So getting this bitmap in there, this is just a picture I have on my hard drive that I use as a backdrop when I play Binding of Isaac. All I did was go in here, add bitmap. Up at the top, you have all of the things that you can, well, let me start over here in scenes, because you have to get scenes going first. Wow, am I skipping ahead? Welcome to me again. You guys know me. Anyways, so go into scenes, you're going to set it up just like XSplit. You can get up to as many as you want. XSplit only had 12 on there. Again, I only need 4, so I have this all set up. This is why I just skipped this. It's all set up already, and I'm dumb. Anyway, so you go in, you hit add scene. This is going to bring up this window here where you can actually name the scene, and let's say for video, because that's what we're doing. We're making a video right now. So you'll add in this blank scene here. So absolutely nothing going on. Brand new blank scene. You'll see there's no sources, as opposed to when I was in game, there's a bitmap source, which is my picture. So you start off, let's say that's your only thing. Forget the first 4 here. That's all you have right here. And you want to play Binding of Isaac. So you saw on my desktop, right next to this, I've got Binding of Isaac sitting out and ready to play. So we want to get that into OBS. So you go into Sources, you right-click, and it'll say all the different things that you can add in. So you can add in the games, you can add in, we'll explain how to add in a camera, which I put on global sources. I'll explain that after all this, because the game's the important part. So, a software capture source is what you're looking for to get your game just about anything in there, quite honestly. Bitmap is pictures on your hard drive. Image slideshow, same thing. That makes sense, I'm sure. Global source we'll get to. Basically, like I said, it's something that if you want to add in a lot of different scenes, like my camera, for example, if I wanted it in the corner with my game and then a full screen version of it, it's much easier to make it a global source. We'll show you that. If you want to add text, that's this choice. And video capture device, that can be anything from basically DX Story to a capture card to your camera, for that matter, if you wanted to. But for now, we're going to do add software capture, or add software capture source. Boy, I can't talk today. So we're going to rename that to Isaac, because that's what we're going to do with it. Let me show you the window that pops up. So you get this window. Basically, so you can choose, do I want to capture just whatever's on one full monitor? And then choose which monitor. Not quite the way I want to do it with this, because, like I said, OBS can't capture full-screen games, and I don't have Isaac full-screened at the moment anyways. It's windowed, as you saw, which it's in the corner here. So yeah, I don't want the full desktop. This is a look at my full desktop. I don't want to stream this. This looks like crap when you're streaming. This is not what you want to stream, right? So instead of telling it, hey, just capture my monitor, you tell it, I just want to capture a certain window. So at that point, it gives you a choice of windows, right? So I'm using XSplit to record this right now. I'm sorry, I know, it's blasphemous. So that's this choice. We got Isaac right here, which obviously is my game, and then my notes for actually making this video that I haven't been looking at, as you can tell by me stumbling on words. But we want Binding of Isaac this time, so we choose Isaac. Now, here comes the absolute most amazingly, God, I love the creator, Jim, for this so much, part of OBS. Seriously, best idea ever. Notice the 2 choices, inner window and entire window. All right, let me show you what we're talking about here. If we choose entire window, so the second setting, which that's hard to see me choose now, but that would literally capture everything that you see here in the Binding of Isaac window. That includes this X button that I'm hovering over right now that's showing up red, and the whole line up here, right? And the thing that says Isaac. And again, you don't want that as your full screen when you're casting, because that just, you know, it looks like, oh, you've got a program open. You want to make it look kind of like a TV show, right? Like you want to get rid of all this stuff above where my mouse is, so that it, you know, it just leaves just Binding of Isaac, and you don't see that it is actually a computer program. You would think that, hey, this is a show, you know, something like that. So you got to think about, you know, aesthetically pleasing people when they're watching. So you don't want to see all this stuff. I don't. This is where the inner window part is so great. All you have to do is click inner window, and okay, remember XSplit, like you'd have to drag your mouse from here and then, you know, highlight all the way down to this corner, make sure that you got it just perfectly lined up in those red boxes, right? No, you just did that by clicking inner window. You're done. That's taken care of for you. Moving on, because that's all I need to say. We'll prove this in a quick second here when it pops up. Capture mouse is if you want your mouse to show on the actual window that you're capturing. Makes sense, just like XSplit. I don't like having it, so I take that off. Would help if you could see this. Again, I'm doing stupid things. So yeah, there's capture mouse. I don't like having it show in screen regions. Sub-region, let's say that you don't want the entirety of that inner window. We'll explain this real quick here, but let me show you exactly what happens with OBS here. So, it's going to kind of sort of cut everything off. You notice this isn't exactly like it's cutting off the word collection down here. It's a little bit screwy off the very bat. If you hit edit scene within OBS, now you can. It also brings up preview here, but you'll see the red lines show up. So there it is. So there's my Isaac window in its glory. You notice, like I said, it doesn't have the top stuff. It doesn't have the red X up here. It's a beautiful thing. It took care of all of that for you. It perfectly screen captured the entire inner window. And I did zero work. It's great, isn't it? Now let's say that, oops, I accidentally dragged my window of Binding of Isaac, which now you can see my whole desktop. Let's say I accidentally drag this, or, oh, I need to minimize it, or, you know, move it to the other screen real quick. I just moved it to my other screen. It's still there. It's still on OBS in the exact same spot. It's not screen capturing or screen regioning, it's actually window regioning. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thought of the creator. I freaking love it so much. Anyways, so there's a couple things you can do here. If you click on, let me get OBS back open so you can see. Let's say that, you know, I'm editing right now, you can move it all off the screen if you want to. Let's say that as you're resizing, you notice, hey, I'm moving it only left and right. Why is it moving, you know, why is it keeping the aspect ratio the same? I want to break the aspect ratio. But, you know, why is it doing this? Really easy to break it. Hold down Shift while you're moving something, and you can break the aspect ratio. I didn't know that at first, but, you know, let's say you just want to have it as one little itty-bitty thing here. You can break your aspect ratio in any way you want. Just hold down Shift while you're resizing. All you have to do. Now, let's say I accidentally put it there, and I'm like, I just want it back to normal where it was. I can't believe I just screwed that up. Here's the fun part, reset size. And we're done. So many beautiful things in this. So fit to screen also is another wonderful little button on here if you right click on the actual source itself. I just hit fit to screen or Control F. That will actually center it and make sure that the entirety of what you've screen captured is actually going to be centered for you. So again, like on mine, I've got my screen region here. I actually had the creator of this set it up so that when I full screen the game, that fits perfectly in there. So, you know, I just put that in back. The one thing to think about though, you notice before on here, like I had Isaac added in. Let me add it in again really quick. You'll see how quick you can get with this. So let's say that for whatever reason, Isaac in their inner window, done. Done. So like I said, let's say that you've got your, you know, holding down Shift, resizing it right here. Do that real quick. Make sure that this is all actually on screen. And hold Shift again so that it breaks the aspect ratio. Take it all the way down to the bottom. Done. See how quick and easy that is? It's ridiculously simple compared to XSplit. This is why this program is such a godsend. So anyways, keep in mind that you have edit scene on at the moment, so make sure to turn that off and hit stop preview so that will disappear at some point, otherwise it won't let you go live. Another thing to keep in mind, let me preview again so you can see what's going on. Notice that it shows the bitmap as my top source. That would say that my picture, which again, let me show you, has a big thing in the center that says put screen region here. That's not a blank spot, right? So bitmap was on the top. So how on earth was my screen capture, which shows down here, of Binding of Isaac, on top of that? This is inverted at the moment. Keep that in mind. So let's say that you've got something you want to bring to the top. You actually have to move the source to the bottom on the list to show the picture, let's say, at the top. It's really bizarre. It'll take a little getting used to. Just everything's inverted. Keep that in mind. Just this line, though. Everything in this will be inverted. Keep that in mind. So that takes care of all your sources and how to add in all those. But let's say in my video here that I just want to capture, let's say, just this little picture of Isaac stinking up the place, which you can't see my mouse now. I forgot that I turned off my mouse capture. I'm so used to doing this for my stream. Oh, issues. It's going to be one of those days, folks. Alright, so let's say I just want to capture Isaac in the center here instead of the entire window. Who knows why, but let's say that for some reason that's all you want to capture of somebody's window. Like for me, when I do my Binding of Isaac races, I don't want to capture the person's entire stream, I just want the game. So let's say that the game just took up the area where Isaac's stinking it up over here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change up what we're actually capturing by going back to Properties, which you're not going to see, but it's in the drop-down menu if you right-click the source. Let me bring this back over onto here so you can see it. Alright, so subregion is how we would do this. This would be like actually taking a screen region in XSplit. So when you hit select region, it's going to be kind of hard to see, I'm assuming, unless... Oh, yeah, it's going to be hard to see. Let me go back out to my full desktop here. When you hit subregion, it actually, notice that it already knows that, hey, we're only taking the inner portion of the Isaac window. Everything that whited out here is what it's screen capturing. So now, unlike XSplit, you don't have to drag out what you want screen captured like you did. It gives you this part covering up what it's screen capturing. So you just drag out up to, let's say, right there at the blue line on Isaac. That's going to be hard to see, but... And let's say, you know... So this little box, like I was saying, will now cover up just Isaac stinking up the place here. Oh, let me get that a little bit over. So you can just kind of drag it down until you see like, oh, okay, there's the edge of what I need. Bring up your line to right there. Where's the edge of what I need here? Right about there. And then it says hit enter escape, click outside of it, whatever the case might be. You do that, nothing's going to change on my desktop, right? It doesn't change anything yet, even within OBS. You can still see OBS still looks exactly the same with the entire Binding of Isaac window. When you click OK, though, oh, look at that. Now we screen region just our little buddy Isaac stinking up the place, like I said. So go back into Edit Scene. It'll actually let you move it around, do whatever you need to. Say I want to stretch it out so you can actually see him in his full glory. Woo! Stinky Isaac. So there's a few little tricks of the trade for you. That pretty much sums up everything I can think of off the top of the bat. With your audio, by the way, you notice you aren't getting the line show and everything. Just keep that in mind. You're going to have to preview a few things and test it out on your own. You'll get everything set pretty easily, though. Just set it all within your actual Windows audio settings and kind of, you know, mix and match from there. But that should take care of just about everything you need to know. Any other questions, feel free to leave them behind. I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, all the links will be up above for you, or in the right below the video. Hope you got all the information you needed there. Have yourselves a great day, and thank you guys very much. Crumbs out.